Thank you so much, and welcome. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm Jim Ginsberg, founder and president of Cedille Records, and we're here tonight to celebrate classical music in Chicago. Thank you so much for coming. I'm really thrilled to be joined by so many people tonight. This is a really good turnout. Those in the room here and those of you watching online too. Each year, as we gather here for Soirée Cedille, we thank you for your support, and especially this year, as I've been seeing some of you for the first time since really before the pandemic, I really want to say thank you. Throughout the pandemic, we were adjusting our lifestyles and activities based on the news of the day, and yet you never stopped believing in and supporting our work to record and promote Chicago's classical musicians. And thanks to your continued support, we maintained our work without interruption, and in fact, we expanded our schedule of releases. To the new faces in the audience, welcome. It's very wonderful to meet you too. I want to be clear about one thing. Cedille is able to record Chicago's finest classical musicians, promote their work, and pay for it because of you. About 90% of Cedille's contributions come from individuals, from music lovers just like you. The artists Cedille records do not pay us for our services, as is sadly all too common in this industry. We work for them to further their careers and fulfill their artistic visions. In short, through your support of Cedille, you help further the careers of these wonderful musicians. I hope that makes your hearts sing. Because the world needs great music probably more than ever in these uncertain times, and your support of Cedille helps us support our musicians' dreams and share their amazing music with the world. I want to especially thank those who have directly supported individual recording projects with their major gifts. Those who have done so tell me how gratifying it is to have a direct connection to an artist or a project that they care about. I'm happy to talk to you more about those opportunities in person. We're honoring one such supporter tonight, of course. You can see him and others noted on the list of upcoming recordings on page 12 and 13 of your program. To select projects for recording, artists submit proposals detailing what it is they want to record. Cedille actually receives about 6 times as many project proposals as we have the capacity to release. While I wish we were able to put out even more, I'm so honored that artists see such value in being recorded by Cedille that they keep coming to us and coming back to us. Now, as Cedille's founder and president for over 30 years, I could probably talk all night about the importance of our work. For your sake, I won't. Instead, I would like to let our artists share their perspectives in a new video.
Performing it, sometimes it's temporary. It feels temporary. You perform it, it's out there, it's gone. But when you record it, you're kind of like creating something that's going to exist, like a visual work of art.
Making a record is such a powerful step in an artist's journey. You know, this is the chance for me to truly put my purest form of artistic stamp onto like what I'm really trying to create and what I'm trying to put out in the world.
The opportunity to record a full opera is exciting because we have the opportunity to share our work so much further.
These recordings have opened doors for me that I otherwise would not have been able to get through. And that leads to lots more performances, not just nationally, but internationally, and also to commissions from groups that I never would have had any contact with.
This album with Cedille, Dreams of a New Day, really gave me a lot of career opportunities I didn't expect. Different organizations and people that reached out, you know, that wanted me to present recitals based off of what they heard, masterclass opportunities, and just in general, they did a lot of tremendous things.
It is so nice to not worry about the financial constraints of creating an album. You know, that is one of the most expensive endeavors we artists go on. There is an understanding that comes with sacrifice, that comes with, it's an investment in our future. But have the opportunity to not worry about that as I created it, I couldn't be more grateful. It gave me the license to focus on what was really the most important as the artist, is to create as best music as I could.
It's a great experience working with this label because everything is taken care of. We just kind of have to show up and play. And so when you have that kind of ease of logistics in a way, it makes you able to work on the music and to kind of try to perfect that.
When they get behind a project, they get behind it 100%. And that includes all kinds of incredible support for the artists in terms of paying for the recording and the artwork and helping to develop the concept. And none of that would be possible without the support of all the generous people who are a part of the Cedille family.
Without Cedille, these musicians and this music won't be heard.
I can't state strongly enough how important it is to have this level of support from a recording company in the life of an artist.
Thanks. So tonight I had hoped to introduce you to an artist born, raised, and residing in Chicago, tenor Koziara, who just recorded his Cedille debut album in July, a project we plan to release next summer. Alas, Ian is not able to join us tonight, but we created a short video for him to share with you the happy reason why he can't be with us and to give you a taste of what he's doing right now instead of being here.
Thank you so much for supporting Cedille and all of the people that go into making this label successful. It is absolutely invaluable to bringing undersung voices into the conversation of classical music and supporting the careers of young artists who are just getting their recording chops and their sea legs going. I wish I could make it to your soiree, but unfortunately something's come up and I've been asked to perform the role of Idomeneo at Liège Opera's new production coming up in just a couple of weeks. But good news, I'm going to be able to sing for you guys the first aria of Idomeneo, Vedrommi intorno. I hope you enjoy it.
Vedrommi intorno nel corpo e sangue il mio delitto lo sparso sangue l'additerà lo sparso cuore, col spavento, col dolore. Di tormento questo cuore, quante volte morirà. Quante volte morirà di tormento questo cuore, quante volte morirà, quante volte morirà, quante volte morirà, morirà, morirà.
I think the folks in Liège are in for a treat when that production opens 2 days from now. And I think you can hear why I'm so excited to release Ian's Cedille debut album in August. It's titled Silenced Unsung Voices of the 20th Century and is a recording of songs by composers whose careers and lives were destroyed by the rise of the Nazis. In a video we'll show at the dinner, Ian says he's particularly excited about the works by the one female composer on the album, Czech composer Vítězslava Kapralova, who managed to leave some magnificent songs despite dying of typhoid fever at the age of 25 as a refugee in France after fleeing Czechoslovakia. Well, we began 2023 by releasing probably the most historically important recording in Cedille's third of a century history, the world premiere recording of an opera written in 1780 by a black composer who was, at the time, France's leading violinist, conductor, composer, and also fencer. I am, of course, speaking of Joseph Boulogne, better known by his title, Le Chevalier de Saint-Georges, and his only surviving opera, L'Amant Anonyme, The Anonymous Lover. The recording was very generously sponsored by Greg O'Leary and Pat Kenny and also received support from the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Fund for Vocal Recordings at Cedille and was released to great acclaim. It features the work of Chicago's Haymarket Opera Company, headlined by soprano Nicole Cabell and tenor Geoffrey Agpalo in the leading roles. I'm delighted that they will perform 3 selections from that opera tonight with veteran Cedille artist David Schrader at his fortepiano. Later, Nicole will perform a group of songs she chose specially for this evening with one of her favorite collaborators, Susan Tang, at the modern piano over there. In between these 2 performances, we will present our Musical Partnership Award to the Lumen Arts Cultural Foundation and our Martin D. Ginsburg Award to Greg O'Leary. We begin the live music portion of the evening with 3 excerpts from the universally acclaimed recording of L'Amant Anonyme, as I just mentioned. Nicole Cabell and Geoffrey Agpalo are reprising their roles from Haymarket Opera Company's June 2022 production, of which Greg O'Leary and Pat Kenny were also the lead sponsors, in addition to providing most of the funds for the recording. So we really owe this all to them. Thank you. Yes. On pages 8 through 10 of your programs, you can find bios of the performers, including David Schrader, whose fortepiano is substituting for the period instrument Haymarket Opera Orchestra, which is conducted by Craig Trumpeter on the recording. Now, the opera has been described as a love triangle with only 2 people in it. This is because the character of Valcour is also secretly the anonymous lover of the opera's title. He despairs of winning over his beloved Leontine, a widow who has sworn off of love because of her disastrous marriage to a cheating husband. So while continuing to be her platonic friend, Valcour, he also courts her secretly as the anonymous one, constantly showering her with gifts and arranging parties for her benefit. In the first piece we'll hear, the brief aria that follows the opera overture, Valcour describes the torment of loving with no hope of reciprocation. Now, over the course of the opera, Leontine goes from renouncing love entirely to becoming open to the anonymous one's courtship, and finally agreeing to meet with him. In the second piece we'll present, she sings of the power of tender love, du tendre amour, in the opera's great showpiece aria, reminiscent of the writing Mozart would do for the Countess in The Marriage of Figaro, writing that in Mozart's case came 6 years later, it must be noted. Immediately after she sings this, Leontine is extremely surprised when, instead of an unknown lover, her passionless friend Valcour shows up. Now, she loves him as a friend, of course, but does not want to be seen with another man when her suitor arrives. This conundrum leads to the third piece we'll hear, the passionate duo Dialogué, in which Leontine begs Valcour to go away, while he insists that no, he must stay and comfort her. With the stage now set, I invite Nicole Cabell, Geoffrey Agpalo, and David Schrader to the stage.
Depuis longtemps, mon cœur soupire et brûle du plus tendre amour. Mais quel tourment, quel martyre de n'espérer aucun retour. Je gémis nuit et jour sans oser dire, sans oser dire, ah, je mourrai de mon amour. Depuis longtemps, mon cœur soupire et brûle du plus tendre amour. Mais quel tourment, quel martyre de n'espérer aucun retour. Dis-moi Cedille, j'ai besoin de repos. Souffrez que l'ami le plus tendre vous témoigne son zèle et partage vos mots. Je connais votre complaisance, je crains d'en abuser. Comblez mon espérance, pourriez-vous me refuser? Le calme de la solitude m'est nécessaire en ce moment. Dissipez mon inquiétude, vous souffrez, je n'ai rien. Quel trouble, quel tourment, quel trouble, quel tourment, dissipez mon inquiétude. J'ai besoin de solitude, souffrez les soins d'entendre. Quel trouble, quel tourment, quel trouble, quel tourment, dissipez mon inquiétude. J'ai besoin de solitude, souffrez les soins d'entendre la vie. Permettez, je vous en conjure. Permettez, je vous en conjure. Souffrez que je reste ici. Souffrez que je reste ici. Que de moi mon cœur endure, que de mon son cœur endure. Je veux être seul ici. Souffrez que je reste ici. Souffrez que je reste ici. Souffrez que je reste ici. Souffrez, souffrez que je reste ici.
Just so no one worries, Valcour eventually reveals himself as the anonymous lover to Leontine's delight, and they live happily ever after. Well, one of the things that makes the music community in Chicago so special is the extent of collaboration and partnership among the artists and artistic organizations throughout the city. This professional camaraderie is very evident when you look at the careers of the Chicago artists Cedille records. It's also clear as I look out at all of you. Each of us as supporters of the arts in Chicago has specific organizations and causes we champion. Yet in Chicago, perhaps more than in any other city, support of one organization provides sustenance to the whole arts community. It really is a collective effort, and one that yields a citywide environment of creativity, passion, and of course, great music. And this is why we created the Musical Partnership Award, which we present each year to an organization that has demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to Chicago's classical music community. I started Cedille Records to address a need I saw in Chicago, to help Chicago artists further their careers and broaden their audiences by recording and sharing their work. Likewise, our 2023 Musical Partnership Award recipient is an organization that invests in young artists, providing them crucial financial support that they can access over the next decade. Several Cedille artists have received a fellowship from the Lumen Arts Cultural Foundation and also its predecessor, the Union League Civic and Arts Foundation. These include Rachel Barton-Pine, Will Liverman, Nicole Cabell, Ian Koziara, and Julian Velasco, winner of Cedille's inaugural Emerging Artist Competition. Ian credits his 2021 Lumen Arts Award with allowing him to pursue a singing career despite the canceled shows and concerts of the pandemic. He points out that fellowships are awarded at a crucial point in young artists' careers as they're leaving the security of young artist programs and building performing careers of their own. As audience members, listeners to recordings, and general supporters of the arts, we've all benefited from the support that the Lumen Arts Cultural Foundation provides to its fellows. Their support truly enriches Chicago's classical music community. And it is therefore my great pleasure to invite Sally Metzler, Board President of the Lumen Arts Cultural Foundation, to the stage to accept this year's Cedille Musical Partnership Award.
On behalf of Lumen Arts, I am honored to accept the Musical Partnership Award from such a prestigious and impactful organization as Cedille Records. It is no secret that more than ever, the classical arts need our support. This is a clarion call to stand behind these talented individuals who embellish our quotidian existence with their magical performances. I could not fathom a more symbolic partnership in nurturing and fostering the creativity of classical musicians than that of Lumen Arts and Cedille Records. We work in tandem. Lumen Arts provides the initial seed by awarding fellowships to young musicians. Next, Cedille Records serves as the catalyst to advance their careers. I hope that everyone present will continue to stand behind the noble pursuit of these musicians and take up the gauntlet to become their patrons of the future. Let us be reminded of great patrons of the past and their contributions. For example, Austrian Emperor Joseph II, the generous benefactor of Mozart, and the Esterházy family in Hungary, who were avid patrons of Joseph Haydn. They, like us here today, could not imagine a world without beautiful music. Lumen Arts and Cedille Records have partnered to ensure the legacy of classical musicians thrives in perpetuity. I'd like to tender for you a beautiful metaphor that I feel encapsulates Lumen Arts and Cedille Records. Together, we form the laurel branch that shelters the birds who sing in the Tuscan spring. Thank you, Mr. Ginsberg, the Cedille Board, and the staff for bestowing this honor on Lumen Arts. We look forward to continuing our partnership in the promulgation of one of life's greatest pleasures, classical music. Thank you.
Good evening. Tonight we bestow the 9th Martin D. Ginsburg Award, an award named for Cedille's first board chair and its most ardent supporter, a man whose unflagging commitment to Cedille and its mission and the musicians it records was an inspiration for all of us. Marty Ginsburg was not the kind of person you meet every day. Equal parts forceful and compelling on the one hand, jovial and witty on the other. He was Cedille's most enthusiastic fundraiser, often making a promise that I'm not sure he was able to keep. If you support his favorite charity, he'd say, I promise you a small corner of heaven. Actually, maybe he can deliver. His passion was infectious, as was his sense of humor. He ran board meetings with efficiency, always with that wit and intelligence, and always with a reminder of the core values and mission of Cedille. When Marty passed away in 2010, I had the privilege of succeeding him as board chair. It was a time of transition. The man who was our biggest supporter, our most important fundraiser, our leader, was gone. I was pleased to try to bring my own experience in leading arts organizations to Cedille and help guide the organization as it weaned itself from dependence on Marty to establishing it far more publicly as an important nonprofit institution in Chicago, rather than Chicago's best-kept secret. Cedille's board decided to invest some of the bequest that Marty left in capacity-growing activities while preserving the rest in the form of a board-designated endowment. We looked at operations, the relationships we'd built, and developed and implemented a plan for sustainability. Cedille's first fundraising event was in 2011, the year after Marty passed away. It was time for the organization to reach beyond its small group of friends and donors, to ask for your support and to share our mission and our work more broadly. Since that time, we have met many of you, and we're so honored for you to join us here on behalf of Chicago's artists and musicians. As you know, the Martin Ginsburg Award was presented previously by the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. As a charter board member and one who has been with the organization from the beginning, I have been asked to present the award in her stead. I make no pretense whatsoever at filling those shoes. No one can. But I do the best I can. The award this year honors a person whose generosity and enthusiasm for the Chicago musical community at large and for Cedille is nearly boundless. Cedille is honored to be included among the many organizations that Greg O'Leary and his wife Pat Kennedy support. Greg has been a member of the board of directors since 2013 and serves as our treasurer and finance committee chair. Greg is the kind of board member we all should aspire to be. He approaches his volunteer activities and his philanthropy with a smile, with a spring in his step, extraordinary energy, and a sense of fun, an infectious fun that he brings to every meeting he's a part of and every project he's a part of. He raises the level of engagement among his peers, and he strengthens the mission of each organization. He makes sure that everyone is having fun. And as a board member, Greg O'Leary is less interested in credit or even acknowledgement than almost any donor in my experience. Some arm twisting, in fact, was even involved today in getting him to permit us to honor him. So it is my honor indeed to present this year's Martin Ginsburg Award to Greg O'Leary.
photo up.
Well, good evening. I am honored and quite humbled to be granted the 2023 Martin D. Ginsburg Award and to join the ranks of so many past recipients, far more worthier than me. I never met Marty, but through Jim, Patrice Michaels, Justice Ginsburg, and Henry Fogel, and so many of you, I really felt that I know him. His passion for classical music and support for Cedille were legendary and inspiring. He certainly influenced and inspired my wife, Pat Kenny, and me. Like Marty, I never mastered an instrument. As my brother and two sisters present tonight will confirm, I was fired by my piano teacher. And that was a good thing. So that leaves me to enjoy and support those who produce classical music, and that is a better thing. I thank all of you for your presence and donations to Cedille. I am the treasurer, so I got to do the money plug tonight, and wish to especially thank my fellow board members and staffs of Cedille for this truly great and prestigious award. I also thank my dear wife, Pat Kenny, for all her patience and encouragement. I congratulate Lumen Arts Cultural Foundation for being the recipient of the Musical Partnership Award tonight, too. Now, someone want to ask me what I really enjoy doing. And my response is listening to classical music with those I love. So that is what we're going to do now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Greg. I never feel we can do enough to honor what you have meant to Cedille and so many other organizations in Chicago. So thank you for agreeing to accept this award. Well, among the close to 200 now distinct Chicago artists and ensembles Cedille has recorded, I'm proud to say that nearly a fifth of them are singers or vocal ensembles. Last year at this time, we announced the launch of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Fund for Vocal Recordings. It's no secret that my mother loved opera and vocal music in general. She was generous to Cedille both during and after her lifetime, and Cedille created the fund as a commitment in her honor to at least one vocal album each year. Now, often at this event, we ask for support of a specific project that exemplifies Cedille's work, encouraging artists to pursue the projects that are personally meaningful to them. The generous guests at Soirée Cedille have in the past supported projects featuring Anthony and Damari McGill, Eighth Blackbird, and Julian Velasco. Last year, thanks to the generous support of so many of our donors, including so many of you here tonight, the initial launch of the Ruth Bader Ginsburg Fund for Vocal Recordings was a smashing success. Just months later, it helped support a landmark Cedille release, the world premiere recording you just heard selections from. We'll share our plans for upcoming projects the fund will support during tonight's dinner, for those of you who are staying with us. For those of you departing after the concert, you'll find a page with information on how you can contribute facing the inside back cover of your program. And for those of you watching at home, I hope you'll consider making a contribution via the donate button helpfully on your screen. Together, we can continue to strengthen the fund and ensure that it supports Chicago vocal recordings long into the future. Well, now it's my privilege to introduce or reintroduce Nicole Cabell. Of course, you've already heard from her tonight, and I'm sure most of you are intimately familiar with her career. I'll just note that she's an alumna of the Lyric Opera Center for American Artists, now known as the Ryan Opera Center, of course, who skyrocketed to international stardom by winning the career-defining BBC Cardiff Singer of the World Prize in 2005. She's gone on to sing pretty much every major lyric soprano role in all the major opera houses around the world, including regular appearances at Lyric, of course. She is why Gramophone's rave review of L'Amant Anonyme, a recording, referred to its, quote, luxury casting. Again, there is a more extensive biography of Nicole on page 8 of your program. Her solo program tonight features a short, passionate love song by Richard Strauss, an American composer's expression of joy, 2 Spanish songs, the first of which Nicole recorded a duet arrangement of on her Sisters in Song CD album with her friend Alison Cambridge, and a classic spiritual arrangement. Nicole is accompanied by pianist Susan Tang, and I invite both of them to the stage now.
This young nymph
I almost don't want to come back to the stage after that. Wow. Well, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's performances. And we are very honored and grateful that you've come here to celebrate Chicago's classical music community tonight. Your help means such a great deal to the Cedille artists and all the artists we record and support. Before you go, I want to mention a special way we plan to support more artists in the future. How many of you here are familiar with the Zell Family Foundation sponsored Emerging Artists Competition we conducted in 2021? Excellent. And how many of you watched the final round, either in person right here or online, and saw saxophonist Julian Velasco win the first prize and get to make his debut recording on Cedille? That's really good. I'm so pleased. Well, the news we're sharing tonight for the very first time right here is that there will be a second Cedille Emerging Artists Competition, again sponsored by Helen Zell and the Zell Family Foundation, with a call for submissions next year, live rounds in 2025, and the winner's debut recording expected to be released in 2026. So you heard it here first, and I look forward to sharing details as plans for the competition progress. Well, those of you who are staying with us for dinner, there will be 2 elevators headed upstairs. For those of you sadly departing now, there is 1 elevator headed downstairs. And be sure to take the gift that's waiting for you in the lobby. Thanks again for joining us and for supporting Cedille.